Good evening, beloved children. We are, of course, delighted to be here as you, with you, among you, resting as you. We are impressed deeply with the amount of work that each and every one of you is doing and how diligent you are about meeting your deadlines and making your stitches in time and meeting your friends on time and meeting your assignments and doing everything that you can in this particular time to attend to your earthly tasks, which are your spiritual tasks as well. This is something that we notice, and we're so proud to be unified with you on this, that truly your earthly tasks are your spiritual tasks. There is a beautiful marriage of earth and spirit within each and every one of you, so that there is a feeling in each and every one of you of completion, that your voyage, because you are integrating earth and spirit together so beautifully, a sense of completion. This is something we feel really good about. And while certainly we would not advise any of us here to rest on our laurels on what we achieved yesterday, we certainly do advise that we all rest in that liminal space, in the possibility of what is to come. And it is the what is to come and how we rest in that we have gathered your speakers for tonight. They are beginning to line up, beginning to assemble, beginning to throw their etheric arms around each other, greet each other. You can feel this very happy assemblage. We're going to start with the master teacher, Yeshua, because he has something particular he would like to say. And so we will step aside and allow Master Teacher Yeshua to speak. My sisters, I'm so delighted to be here with you in this amazing environment. You know, it never ceases to amaze me with your technologies of today that you are all sitting in different geographic locations, and yet you are in one place energetically. Truly, it is a wonderful thing to see. Something that I hoped for in my earth life, a sense of realizing oneness in very practical ways, but I didn't know how it would come. And here is one version of something that I hoped for that is here. I wanted to speak directly to you of things that you may be hoping for now, that you may be longing for in your hearts. I remind you gently that when I walked upon the earth, after I had my demonstration at the temple, that I said to the leaders, to the authorities of the temple, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will build it up. And they were quite confused because it had taken, I think around 46 years to build that temple. They weren't sure what I meant. As I recall, some of them said things like, the arrogance of this fellow. What is he pretending to be? A magician? How blind does he think we are? And things of that nature. They did not understand at the time that I was referring to my physical temple, my body temple. that if they were to destroy it, that in 3 days I would raise it up. I bring forth this story from your consciousness, for I know that on some level of your being, you've heard it. You have records of it, not only in this life, but in your past lives, when you heard the story. I bring it forward to you now because I am aware that many of you are watching temples be destroyed, edifices, buildings being torn down, and temples that have to do with familiar shrines of democracy that are being obliterated or laid to waste or changed, transformed in such a way as to be almost unrecognizable, familiar temples of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness that look as though they're being destroyed. And I remind you that you are the ones who are now able to say, destroy these temples, and in 3 days, we will build them up. And yes, you will. And what do we mean by 3 days, my sisters? Well, 3 days simply is 3 movements of consciousness. You might think of it as mind, body, and spirit. Or you might think of it as 3 cycles in consciousness. Or you might think of it as that kind of courage that happens when we take not the first step, not the second step, but the third step. And that third step is when we are able to lock a new pattern in and make sure that a new pattern continues. Of course, also, it's part of your Fibonacci pattern, isn't it? 1. And then 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 and 1 is 3. And now we are in an entirely new movement in the Fibonacci sequence. I sit with you many times. I hear your prayers. I know you are concerned by those embodiments of free thinking, those temples of democracy that it appears as though you are losing. And I want you to know, my dear sisters, that in 3 days, you will build them up. You will build them up within you. You will create new temples of democracy, new temples of new free thinking, new temples of liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You will create new temples. You will create new houses of consciousness. At first, these structures will be etheric. They may not precipitate right away into material form, but oh, they will, because you are about doing this business now. You are not allowing yourselves to fold into the destruction of these houses of beautiful ideas, these houses of free thinking, these houses of liberty, these houses of love, of fairness, of democracy. You will not let them be destroyed within you. And because you will not cave in or give in or allow that house of the divine to be crushed within you, you are about rebuilding it. And what I see is so beautiful. I see beautiful temples of democracy and beautiful houses that belong to one and all, people's houses. What is a house? But metaphorically, a house is a gathering of thought, isn't it? And so a house of the divine or a house of God is a place where we come to think about the divine, It is a structure of thought. A church is also a structure of thought. A temple is a structure of thought. And the east wing of your White House is a structure made out of thought. And now you are building new structures. I believe in your progress. I believe in your ability to immerse yourself in the creation of what I will call new houses of love, new constructs of democracy and freedom, new sanctuaries for life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, new awareness of what real justice looks like and feels like. I believe in your ability to do this. And partly I say this because I am doing it along with you. You see, I believe in my ability to do this. I believe in our ability together, side by side, shoulder by shoulder, arm in arm, recreating the houses, the gathering places, the collectives where democracy is enshrined and where truth is apparent. And so be not dismayed, my dear ones. As I said to you when I was on the earth path, in the world you will find tribulation. Be not afraid. I've overcome the world. I did not mean that I would conquer the world. I did not mean that I would put my foot down upon the world as some kind of earthly king. But what I meant was that I had found the way to transmute the injustices of the circumstances of the world, to transmute poverty into spiritual abundance, to transmute deep grief and loss into the ark where new life comes forth, to transmute the tomb into the garden, to transmute death into life, to transmute anger into love, to do all of these transmutations. This is what I have meant by I have overcome the world. It means simply, I have figured out how to be in this tangle of world vibration and continuously transmute it. And so are you. And we are doing this together. And the work is whole and holy and ongoing. Now, one of the ways, my dear sisters, you will know if you have stumbled onto a house or a temple or a gathering that is about to fall is where the thoughts have become too rigid, where they have become too absolute, too black or white, with not enough room for gray. Those are the edifices that will eventually fall. Your spiritual buildings, your etheric enclosures have room for all the colors of the rainbow. And your enclosures have a special place for gray, one of my favorite colors. For out of that gray comes a beautiful light of understanding that we are always, always gently moving forward. Bless you, my dear ones. How I love you. It is difficult to articulate, to put into earth language. Just know that I do, that I so appreciate that each and every one of you is a lamp that shines upon this world and throughout other galaxies. I am ever grateful to you all. Let us continue. your friend, Yeshua. Shalom. And this is your group consciousness arena, and we are so grateful for the master teacher, Jesus, and for the bringing in of this beautiful teaching of what it means to build up an edifice, to rebuild that which we believe has been destroyed. And now we are bringing in a familiar to you. The lovely Master Lady Nada would like to come and further this discussion, as she often does, for she is the twin flame of Yeshua. And so we withdraw, and our dear kind Lady Nada comes forward. Oh, that was such a lovely introduction. Thank you. Thank you, Zarina. Thank you, ladies. It's so nice to be here. And yes, Yeshua is my twin flame. We often operate in tandem with one another. We are so ingratiated with one another. I'm always grateful to him for his teachings, and he's kind enough to be grateful to me for mine. I'd like to follow through with my twin flames' beautiful description of what you all are doing now with the rebuilding, the building up. And many of you have that vivid illustration of a part of the People's House, what you call the People's House, the East Wing of the White House being demolished. Many of you have that in consciousness, but if you don't, there are other metaphors or other examples of that which has been demolished, boundaries that have been broken, promises that have been broken, where there is a feeling of what was once a sacred temple or a sacred church or something sacred has been somehow wiped away. And now it is upon us to rebuild in a brand new way. In this rebuilding, I'd love to talk to you all about what you are doing in your liminal time, the time in between waking and sleeping. Yes, indeed, a very fertile time. Yes, indeed. And as many of you know, this is the time in that liminal area where you are able to remember your dreams. And I was heartened to hear that some of you are having increasingly vivid dreams that you are now able to remember. Hearken unto your dreams while you are in the liminal state. And if they are dreams that in any way distress you or bring about feelings of shame, you are being urged right now to stay in the liminal space and forgive everyone who is in that dream. And of course, you know that everyone in that dream is you. To take your time to forgive all the remnants of that dream that may have unsettled you, and make friends with them and say thank you to each and every one of them. All of these elements in your dreamscape that somehow either unsettle you or shatter you or make you feel less than secure are old remnants from old past lives when doors were crashed through, when houses were destroyed, when old systems were overthrown. And now, what you know as the grown up adult souls that you are, now you understand that you have never been a victim of these, what I would call a pushing or a disregard for boundary. You have never been a victim. You have been a participant. Now you are able to forgive yourself, to go into the valley of the shadow of that liminal energy in between waking and sleeping, or sleeping and waking, and acknowledge that it has always been you. This is very important for the rebuilding of consciousness. Sometimes it is hard to let go of the cornerstone of bitterness or regret or victimhood. Very hard indeed. For sometimes we build whole structures built on victimhood. We build whole entire stories. We build log cabins. We build administration buildings. We build temples and churches and universities. We build all kinds of structures based on that cornerstone of being a victim. Now, in the time that you are in, and we are fully working with you on this, the cornerstone of victimhood is being removed, and you are replacing it, each and every one of you, with the cornerstone of peace. And look at that. Take a moment now to feel into that. Take a moment to feel this brand new temple, church, edifice, this body of yours, this house of your being. Take a moment to notice that you and all of your angels, your helpers, your joy guides, your teachers, that you and your collective are picking up that old cornerstone of victimhood and moving it, dissolving it, so it does not hold up your house, your edifice, your body, your structure of belief anymore. And in that beautiful empty place, lo and behold, a new cornerstone, a cornerstone of peace. And this is something to be grateful for, to notice that this is what you in your consciousness are doing. We are spotting you the way coaches would spot a really good gymnast in balancing their way through this new concept of my cornerstone no longer is victimhood, my cornerstone is peace. This is your brand new building, your brand new space, your house, your home, your temple, your church, your sanctuary, your edifice made of new thought, and it belongs to you. And isn't it beautiful? And aren't you proud that in your participation of the building of what we call this new house, that your house is a place that is open to one and all? Can you see all the beautiful people, souls of all colors and languages, coming from all over this planet, that feel safe and happy in your house? Can you feel all the animals that are safe and happy in your house? All the elements of the mineral kingdoms and the plant queendoms that feel safe and content in your house. Your house is not built on sand. It is built on the power of love, of peace, and it is everlasting. And we are so proud, my darlings, that in the midst of profound loss, you are all experiencing profound rebuilding. Of this you can be sure. I wrap my arms around you. I extend my mantle around you. feel my blessing. I am entirely sure that each and every one of you, with each and every step that you take, both waking and sleeping, are a part of this beautiful rebuilding from inside and out. And I salute you. Namaste. And this is your group soul, Zarina. And of course, we are so grateful to Lady Nada for coming in and bringing her perspective to her twin flame, Yeshua's theme to us of what it means to rebuild a temple. And now we are so blessed to feel into the energies of those who first colonized your, what you call your new world. Many of them are coming forward in a collective. Some of them have names you may recognize, and some of them have names you will not recognize. We are going to step aside and introduce the collectives of those who colonized. Greetings, dear ones. We come and speak as a collective. We are Christopher Columbus. We are Leif Erikson. We are many, many others. We come from Europe, and we sailed across the sea in search of a new land. What we did not understand at the time was that we were on a metaphysical journey to a new land within ourselves. At the time, we had no understanding that the souls that would be meeting us, the indigenous ones, the native ones of your continent, those who spoke so beautifully of Mother Earth and Father Sky, those who were able to stand in complete union with the mother who birthed them, this beautiful earth, and bow only to the sky. Those who respected the lives of animals at a very deep level. Those who thought of trees as standing people and as rocks, as stone people. Those who saw everyone and everything as part of one living, animated stream of consciousness. At the time, we did not understand or recognize that these were our teachers, and that we had not come to discover a new land that was a piece of geography, but a new terra firma within ourselves. We had come to find and discover a new way of being, of relating to ourselves, to the planet, to the universe as one living, pulsating divine. And of course, you know what happened. What did we do? Most of us, and we say this with deep regret, most of us destroyed what we saw. Many of us made these beautiful teachers sick with our ways. We polluted their bodies with our alcohol and our diseases that they were not ready for. We taught them ways that were outside their way of being. We tore their temple down. We destroyed their way of life. We destroyed their edifice, their house of worship. Little did we know that they had their own way, these master teachers, of saying in their own rhythm and in their own tempo, destroy my environment, destroy my relationship to my planet, destroy my way of living, and in 3 days, I will rebuild it. I will build it up. We are here to say that we are now a part of our teachers' 3 days of rebuilding this torn down edifice, this beautiful Mother Earth, this living habitat, that we have committed ourselves to be a part of the rising dawn of what we are also calling the 3 days to build mind, body, and spirit. We are part of the 3 days of rebuilding, and that we have completely adopted our teacher's way of thinking. We are no longer the colonizers, we are the students. And these beautiful indigenous native ones, they are now colonizing us with their beautiful thoughts, their beautiful ways, their ways of sitting, of singing, of seeing life in all of its vivid forms, and as seeing humanity as one tiny piece of this beautiful, always evolving thread of the tapestry of life. We have now committed ourselves to be a part of the rebuilding of this particular temple. And as this happens, as we commit ourselves, and as we influence you to commit yourself to the rebuilding of this temple, something amazing is happening. For in the indigenous systems, there was a thriving democracy. It was in the nation of the Iroquois. And in just a moment, we will step aside and allow the nation of the Iroquois to speak to all of us about what it means to rebuild this edifice of democracy. And so we will now, with great humility and all due respect for our teachers, for we are now their disciples, their students, and yes, sometimes their apostles. We are brave enough to say that. We now step aside so that they may speak. And we are the collective of the Iroquois, and we thank our European brothers and sisters, our students, who have very humbly come forward and said out loud what we had heard said in their hearts for several centuries now. We take the apology, we take the regret, and we build upon it now with all of you. Sisters, you may not know, but in the Iroquois nation, we had a powerful democracy. We had an understanding of how democracy could work. There was the belief that each individual tribe should be allowed to rule themselves, have their own customs, have their own way of doing things. We would meet around one single campfire, yes, but we would never stand in the moccasins of another tribe and determine for them what was right for them, what was the food that was right for them to feed their belly, or what was right for them when it came time to meander up and down the face of our mother. We had what you now call states' rights, but we had it in our own way, a fluid and beautiful and peaceful agreement that ironically was torn apart, was torn down around the same time that your Revolutionary War was happening, was when we lost our democracy because we went to be a part of your battle, even though it was not our own. And so we too have had a wing of our house that was torn down. And we too stand here to say, we are no longer victims of this. We no longer curse ourselves and say that we were victims of the Europeans or victims of any other circumstance. We replace that in our wigwam with twigs of peace. And we are part of what you, our dear sisters, are building. The new edifice of peace. You see, it comes from deep within. It comes from the original inhabitants, those of the First Nation, those who brought their beautiful teachings to this beautiful turtle earth, those who taught their young ones how to sing, how to dance, how to use bow and arrow, how to make tools, and how to raise their young to be strong and to have respect for one another, how to love the rock and the tree and the animal as much as we love ourselves, how to do all of these things. And now our disciples, these Europeans, have come into our beautiful Iroquois democracy, and they are joining, and democracy is being rebuilt from this fabric, from the wigwam, from the council fire, from the grassroots. Here comes your democracy, our democracy. And so we add into this beautiful knowing that no matter what worldly power decides it can destroy something or tear it down, spiritual consciousness will always resurrect, will always rebuild, will always repopulate, will always reseed, will always rededicate, and will continue to bloom. Thank you for giving us time in your council to speak. Aho. And this is Serena, your group consciousness, and we are so honored by the Iroquois Nation. We have one last teacher who is pulling on our mantle and asking to come forward. We will step aside and allow Sarah to come. Yes, good evening, ladies. My name is Sarah. I have had many incarnations upon your planet. They now call me Master Sarah, in the same way that they call my once upon a time husband, Master Abraham. He and I have had many, many evolutions over time. Once upon a time in my early youth upon your planet, I was a beautiful, beautiful young woman. And that caused a bit of trouble for my then husband. But that beauty was not a beauty of the soul. I would call it an outer beauty. And when that temple was destroyed, when that edifice was torn down, when I aged, in other words, I became quite bitter. And I mourned the loss not only of my beauty, but of my fertility. And of course, you know the story. I engaged someone else to help me have a child, and then I had my own child. And when I had my own child, and when I learned the error of my ways, and when I learned that I too had built a house on bitterness and it was time to replace it with peace, when I faced the fact that I had been so unkind to the young girl that was at that point my slave, when I had asked her to sleep with my husband, give birth to a child, when I used someone in that way, when I faced myself, when I asked for her forgiveness, and when I forgave myself, my house of bitterness became a house of laughter, a house of fun, a house of peace. And indeed, I named my son Isaac Laughter. I've come to speak to you about one of the ways that you can keep rebuilding your houses, and that is the power of laughter. Never dismiss the power of laughter, my dear sisters. Laughter has the way of instantly making you, creating within you a kind of youth that is ageless. When you laugh, you snap out of earth reality and you're instantly able to see things from the fourth dimension. I know your friend and mine, the master teacher Emmanuel, has often mentioned that when you, dear ones, pass through this physical dimension, when you make your transition into spirit, that many of you do burst out laughing. You burst out laughing because it's so funny. You can't believe how seriously you took yourselves when you were here on the earth plane, when you see it from fourth dimension. My dears, that is the power of laughter. Never dismiss the power of laughter in rebuilding your house of democracy, of freedom, of life, of liberty, and of the pursuit of happiness. Laughter is like a beautiful fuel. It's like the gas that you put in your tank. It's like fertilizer on a field. It's like a wonderful glass of milk and a cookie. It brings forward from you that knowing that all is not as it seems, that there is so much more to the picture. That is the gift of laughter. Keep finding occasions to remove that stone of bitterness and replace it with the fountain of laughter. Keep knowing that you are moving ahead on the beautiful Arcadia path, a path of creating something absolutely magnificent. When I was in my earth life, oh my goodness, I was spoiled, I was heady, I was arrogant, I was cruel, I was insistent on having my way. I threw temper tantrums. I was not easy to be around. I truly was not. I hopefully am now, and my master teachers assure me that I've come quite a long way since then. I am no longer the squeaky wheel that I once was, but I am instead retired from all that annoyance, and I have become, along with you, my dear sisters, committed to building the new building, the new temple, church, sanctuary, house of thought, whatever you call it, the new way of integrating love and laughter, peace and light on this planet. Some of you may remember the year 1968, and I am being impressed by my master teachers to remind you of that time, 1968, and what was going on in that time, the disruption of 1968, and all of the many new ways that were found in the wake of 1968. For some of you, it may feel like a different kind of 1968, where the waves of energy are crashing up against each other. What I want to assure you of is that you, my dear ones, are not 1968. You have evolved forward. You are not teenagers in spirit anymore. You are mature beings, and you are now moving this ball forward. And so rest in that knowing. Rest in that knowing. I speak to you as somebody who was pretty restless in my earth life, as someone who has finally found her peace in gales and gales of laughter. Thank you for allowing me to serve. And this is your group souls arena. And we do want to thank all of these beautiful energies that have come in. We are now being encouraged by these teachers, by these energies, to feel into our hands and to feel into that place in between our fingers on our hands, that place in between that first and second finger and that third and fourth finger. You could just draw a line in that place in your hand, couldn't you? You could just imagine a line going through your hand, kind of splitting your hand in two. You could imagine that. And now you can imagine what it feels like to bring all of your fingers together, to no longer be splitting your focus between what I could have had, or what was taken from me, or what I lost, and what I hope to have. You can now bring all these fingers together, no longer a split focus, but two hands that are gathered in beautiful prayer. Two hands with 10 fingers, each finger extending beautiful rays of light, rosy light, pink light, turquoise light, tangerine light, indigo light, and green light, and all the levels of light, orange light and pink light. Notice the light that is coming from your hands, from your fingers, because you have brought them together, because you have integrated them. And now lift these beautiful hands of light, these healing hands of light, and lift them up towards that which you are hoping to see rebuild. And notice the light coming from your fingers, the light that is right now rebuilding a front door, an edifice, a home, a relationship, a pathway, a house, an east wing, a temple, a sanctuary, a place in the woods, a place for all of Mother Earth that is fruitful and growing and vibrating with perfect, abundant life. This you are building now. And we, all of your master teachers, are building this with you. And now lacing your fingers together and placing them at your heart chakra. Feel yourself now at the readiness to come in and to make your namaste bow one to the other, to feel your fingers, to feel your feet, to know that now is the time to come up and out from this meditation as you feel your fingers interlaced, as you feel all of these levels of your being coming together. Come yourself forward with the knowing, dear builders, that what you are about is building a house that lasts. Namaste.
Thank you, Carolyn. That was magical as always. Um, I think laughter is something I will focus on. It's important. It does make a difference. Um, so thank you for all the uplifting messages. It was
You're
beautiful.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, with the laughter part of it, it super stood out to me. And I've never really been able to like put into words how I feel during like a good belly laugh. And that just described it. And it totally made sense. That it's, you're kind of taken into another dimension when you're having like a really good laugh. So, and the whole messages were great. And Lady Nada is always just comforting in general. So, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. Um, can I share what I got from that? Like what
Yeah,
came to me during that whole
yeah.
um because I was reminded of, well, as above, so below, as within, so without. And the west wing of the White House is the masculine aspect, and the east wing is the feminine aspect.
Mm,
And we're moving into a time of more feminism, right? The more loving energy, motherly loving energy. But the masculine is attempting to destroy the feminine. However, what's being built in its place is still on the east side of the house,
mm,
which is feminine. And it's going to be larger. And whether it's a ballroom or a library, but if it's a ballroom, within a ballroom is dance. It's the partnering of the masculine and the feminine. And there's always laughter. And when Sarah mentioned laughter, I was reminding of that. So to me, this is just another example of the rising of the feminine energy.
mm.
Thank
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for weaving that all together, April. That is really good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mm. Mhm. Hi, Patty.
And Carolyn, I think you're still recording if you wanted to
Oh, thank you
stop
for
that.
reminding me.